Hey guys, gear up yourselves with full energy as we are going to move forward with our next topic, that is subsidiary books. And today we'll start with a thorough understanding of the cash book. But before starting, we must know what are subsidiary books and why do we need them. So, are you ready? Look, business can be classified into two categories, large and small. But in case of small business, journal itself is sufficient for recording all the types of transactions in the books of account. But in case of large businesses, we require to divide journal into two segments, that is journal proper and subsidiary books. So the question arises that what are subsidiary books? For quick, efficient and accurate recording of business transactions, journal is subdivided into special journals, each meant for recording all the transactions of similar nature. And these special journals are also known as the subsidiary books or the day books. Alright, so a specific journal book which is meant for all the transactions of similar nature are known as the subsidiary books. And in accountancy, we have some number of subsidiary books that are cash book, purchase book, sales book, purchase return book, that is also known as return outward book, sales return book, which is also known as return inward book, and the journal proper. Alright, and in today's session, we are going to start with the cash book. Cash book is also known as the book of original entry because all the transactions relating to the cash, whether it is receipt of cash or the payment of cash, are recorded in the cash book on a monthly basis. Okay, and cash books are divided into three categories, that is single column cash book, double column cash book, and the petty cash book. In today's session, we are going to cover single column cash book and the double column cash book. Alright, but what is a single column cash book? Any cash book in which only cash transactions are recorded in the chronological order are known as the single column cash book. So now we understand that in a double column cash book, one additional thing should also be recorded in addition with cash. Yes, that is bank. We record both cash and bank transactions in a single cash book, and this cash book is known as the double column cash book. So let's start with our first topic, that is single column cash book. The basic structure, the basic format of a single column cash book is date, receipts, LF standing for ledger folio, which we are going to cover in our later sessions, amount, and same on the credit side also. Remember, in case of receipt, cash is debited. So all the receipts are recorded on the debit side of the cash book, and all the payments, in which case cash is credited, shall be recorded on the credit side of the cash book. So let's understand this with the help of an illustration. First, it is cash in hand rupees 30,000. So this must be our balance which is brought forward. So we write here on the receipt side two balance brought forward with 30,000. Cash received from Anil rupees 52,000. Now we understand this very clearly that it should be shown on the receipt side to Anil rupees 52,000. Next, purchased furniture rupees 10,000. Now as this is a payment of cash, buy furniture 10,000 on the payment side, that is on the credit side of the cash book. Now understand, in this case furniture is being debited and cash is being credited. So we can also make a journal entry with the help of a cash book. Understand? Next, sold goods for cash rupees 25,000. So we write in the receipt side two sales rupees 25,000. Purchased goods in cash rupees 7,000. So we write here in the payment side, buy purchases rupees 7,000. Purchase stationery rupees 1,400. Again the same thing, buy stationery rupees 1,400 on the credit side. Next, sold goods on credit rupees 12,000. Now understand this, it is not a case involving cash. Alright, because here goods are sold on credit, so there is neither a movement of cash and again we do not need to record this in the cash book. So we'll move on to the next one. Paid monthly rent of rupees 1000. So we write here by rent 1000. Paid salary rupees 6000. Again the same case, by salary rupees 6000. Deposited in bank rupees 21,000. So we write here by bank rupees 21,000 and we get a total of the debit side of the cash book. Now in case of closing of a cash book, all we need to do is take the balance, that is the amount on the debit side minus the amount on the credit side. So we get the cash balance, which in this case comes out to be 60,600. It is a very easy case, alright? And always remember one thing, cash always has a debit balance only, because cash cannot be paid without receiving it, alright? So cash book always has a debit balance. Remember this. Next is the double column cash book. So the basic structure of a double column cash book is very similar to that of a single column cash book, provided it has one additional column of bank on both the sides, that is on the debit as well as on the credit side. Another concept that involves here is the concept of contra entries. When cash is deposited in bank or cash is withdrawn from bank, both the entries are recorded in the cash book itself. This is so because both the aspects of transactions appear in the cash book itself. Against such entries, the word contra is written in the LF column, that is in the ledger folio column. This means that these entries are not to be posted to their ledger accounts, because both the aspects of the entries are recorded in the cash book itself. Alright, because we show the payment here and receipt here. It may be of cash or bank. So relax, we'll understand this with the help of an illustration. Here we are provided with the balances for bank and cash as on 1st July 2020. So the cash balance is 15,000 and bank balance is 42,000. So we mention here on the receipt side two balance brought forward, rupees 15,000 and 42,000. Next, purchased goods by check rupees 10,000. So we write here by purchases rupees 10,000 and we write it in the bank column as it is clearly mentioned that we have purchased goods by check. Next, sales of goods for cash rupees 6,000. Two sales 6,000 in the cash column as it was clearly mentioned. Purchased machinery by check rupees 5,400. So again it is clearly mentioned by check. So we write here by machinery rupees 5,400 in the bank column. Next, sold goods and received check rupees 33,000. So as we already did it, two sales rupees 33,000 but in the bank column. Next, check given to Rohit rupees 2,500. Again by Rohit rupees 2,500 in the bank column. Very clear. Cash withdrawn from bank rupees 27,000. Now we know that this entry is a contra entry because it involves both cash and bank. Now see how to record a contra entry. Here on the receipt side we'll receive 27,000 cash, so we write here to bank and we write C in the LF column. And here on the payment side we are paying cash from our bank's account, that is rupees 27,000 is moving out of our bank account. So we write on the credit side and again we write C in the LF column, depicting that it is a contra entry. Alright, it is not very difficult, it is easy to understand if you practice it thoroughly. Next, rent paid by check rupees 1,500. Here we write by rent 1,500 and in the bank column as it was mentioned that it is paid by check. Last, paid salary rupees 2,200. Now here it is not mentioned whether it is paid by check or by cash. So we assume that we have paid the salary by cash itself. So we write 2,200 in the cash column on the payment side by salary. Alright. And now As we already did earlier, we'll total and we'll balance both cash and bank account in the same way as we did in this single column cash book. And here again total always matches. Now one thing is needed to be understood before moving forward. Cash can never have a credit balance because cash always has a debit balance. We have already discussed it. But bank can have a credit balance in case an overdraft facility is provided by the bank. You must be knowing about the overdraft facility, so I am not going into so much details. Okay, and this is a basic thing. Cash can never have a credit balance, but bank can have both a debit or a credit balance. Okay, easy. So this is how a cash book is prepared. That's all for today. We'll discuss about petty cash book in our next session. But before that, I hope you understood how to prepare single and double column cash book. Practice as much as possible and feel free to mention all your queries in the comment section. I'll be happy to cover each of them further. Please share this video with all your friends in need as it would definitely be helpful. Until then, stay tuned for our next sessions. Thank you.